Good evening, guys, and welcome to this one episode series of Figure Painting 101 with me, Hollywood Modeling. If you guys remember correctly, yes, this dude has already done a figure painting tutorial and it sucked ass because of bad camera perspective and me being kind of ignorant and not letting you guys see what I did, mainly because of the camera position. Well, I took the criticism and I ran with it, and I decided, well, what I did back then was not good enough, was not up to the standards that I myself have for what I put out there on YouTube, so this will be deleted after this video is out there. We will be painting one figure, but this video will not show you guys the entire process of painting this figure. This video will show you aspects of figure painting that are really tricky or important to be talked about more in detail. We will tackle the eyes, we will tackle detail, picking out detail, we will be talking about adding shadows and lights, and yeah, and flash tone. So this is basically what we will be talking in this video. It will be just one video. It might be about like half an hour long once it's all done. I don't want this episodal stuff that I did earlier in this other video because I thought that just took away from the overarching theme of painting one figure, because it took me that long to put out all the different episodes. I thought that it just lacked in quality, and so this is why I decided for this new video. We will be painting this little fella here. It's an alpine figure of a Russian officer, 1943 to 1945. He'll be in my Fall of the Reich dio. It's this fella right here, the one on the right, with the blue shorts and the light khaki brown, khaki beige uniform. And as I said, we will just look at certain aspects. I will prime the figure off camera. I'll be using this primer. That's Vallejo's gray surface primer. Normally I don't use Vallejo primer anymore because it's crap compared to other companies, but I still have this ball of gray surface primer, and I, well, realized for figures it's not that bad. I could just as well use the Tamiya Rattle Can primer. Problem with that though is you have way less control than when you prime with your airbrush. What I would advise you guys to do is get the Badger airbrush primer in gray, the Steinerres, best primer out there, at least to the primers that I've tried and the consensus opinion around the guys that I talk to. As I said, I'll prime this guy. As you can see, I stuck him on a toothpick, just drilled a little hole in his foot, not through the foot so that you don't see it once it's on the dio, but just into the foot, and then I stuck the toothpick in there with CA glue so I can just snip it off. Everything's fine. I'll put him on a dio. Everything's fine. Yeah, so as I said, I'll prime the guy off camera, and then I will base coat the guy with Vallejo Model Air Scent Yellow for the coat. And once that's done, I guess we will talk about putting the flesh tone on hands and face. So that's what we're gonna do now. So see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, welcome. So as you see, I've primed the figure and I've laid down a base coat on both the uniform and on the pants. This camera angle that I'm working at currently is very new to me and very difficult for me to maybe paint the figure later on. So we will see whether or not this is possible for me to do it like this. Well, just a quick heads up on the colors I've used so far. I have changed the plan on the uniform color, and I went with Make Ammo Sandgrau, number 009, sand gray, that will be. It's a way lighter color than the the sand yellow because the sand yellow was too light or too stark. Then I used a mix of both Revell's Matte 56 blue and Model Colors Field Blue number 70964. I think that this color is way better than this one, or way more accurate. I used this one first, then I decided, okay, I just really like, in a way, dry brushed, but in like a very light shade of this I put over the top just to make sure. So this is the state our figure is in. The next step I would now take is put the flesh tone on. A lot of people have asked me, or the discussion is very, let's say, vivid on which flesh color is the right flesh color. And for me personally, I use two different kinds of flesh tone. Normally I use one, but on this video I will use two because I will be highlighting some areas in the face. First off, for the base color, I use Vallejo Model Color Beige Red 70804, and I will put the highlights in with Vallejo Model Color 70845 Sunny Skin Tone. Those are the two colors we will be using for the face and for the hands. So let me just take my brush, get some of the paint on this tray. It looks dirty. It is dirty. I don't thin it though, just in case you want to ask whether or not do you thin the paint or not. And now let's see if I can paint like this. And then we just brush it on onto the areas where we want the paint to be. And don't worry, it looks very, very stark right now. I know that. But it will be toned down both by the highlights and then by the wash or effect color we put on to add the shades. That will tone it down significantly. And make it look like a man in his 30s, 20s, 30s, with aged skin. Just want to check that we cover everything. We don't miss anything. That's the problem with painting the way I'm doing right now. Trying to make the camera focus. Focus. Come on. God damn it. Won't focus, so let's quickly do this so I can figure out a way to focus. You always want to be careful, especially to cover the ears, the backside of the ears, because that's an area where you normally might forget to put paint. And in the neck, around the head. Right, you don't want the paint to be too thick on your figure though. You got to be careful. There you go. Now it focuses again. Then you clean your brush in just tap water. And I advise you to fix your figure to either a cocktail stick or whatever you want to fix it to, just so you have something that you can move the figure without touching it. Let me just off camera see if there are small areas where there is no paint yet, so I can touch those off. Okay, once again, the super glue screwed up the figure. Nice. Don't use cheap super glue, guys. Do not use cheap super glue on expensive figures. Alright, here we go. Now I think everything is covered on the figure, on the face. Now let's put down a coat of paint on the hands, just so we have all the flesh tone put on. Just the same color, and we do the same thing that we did on the face to the hands. And don't worry if you make a mistake and you paint over. You can always go use a bit of water, take it off. It's acrylic. That's one of the reasons I use acrylic paint. And or you could always go over it with the color, the base color, when you paint over the uniform, or when you paint, for example, in this case, you paint the binoculars. That's not a problem because we will paint the binoculars at a later point anyways. So that's the flesh color. Once again, off camera, I will touch up the spots where I'm not sure whether or not it covered, and then we'll come back and put the highlights in. So let me just do this off camera. Alright, I have now done all the work off camera that I needed to do. I touched up on the inside of the hands. You always want to paint the inside of the hands because there will be ways you can turn the figure that we would see that you haven't painted them. So now let's try and pick out certain features of the figure with the sunny skin tone, like the nose. We want to highlight the tip of the nose. And the brows of the eye. All the areas where it will be lighter because of cheekbones. The chin. That's all we do. It looks a bit strange now, I know. And I hope that it doesn't look that strange after I put on the finishing touches. Now we just highlight the fingers like we did with the facial features. Just it almost mirrors dry brushing on the figures. I'm sorry guys, my storage on my camera just crashed and told me there's no space left, so I had to see whether or not I was able to create some storage there. As you can see, we have now put in the highlights, and yes, if the camera would focus, which it just doesn't. There you go. It looks a bit strange. Might add another one on the ears. Give me a second. In a way, we're outlining the ears. Alright. Now this guy looks strange in the face now, thanks to the highlighting. But I hope that it will turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. Next step will be picking out highlights and detail on a figure. We will be taking out this metal that you can see right there together now, and then I will do the rest off camera. And then once I'm back, we will just take a look at the eyes. So let me just set everything up, and then we'll pick out the metal. Alright guys, as you can see, the metal we will be picking out is a reddish color. The ribbon is red, and then we have a silver metal. I actually filmed this, then I had a camera malfunction where the camera fell all over my stuff. That's why the ribbon is already painted red. As with other models, always try to keep your paint thin and not too thick so that it doesn't cover the detail. Now we will, I used this color, it's Revell's Matte 36 Kaminrot for the red. Don't worry if it's too stark right now, but it will be toned down once we put on our magic liquid at the end. And I will be using aluminum metallic 99 from Revell to paint the actual metal right now. I'm sorry guys, this camera position is very, very hard for me. It's the first time I've ever done this. It's a kind of over the shoulder, but the camera is standing in front of my face. So actually I have to work around the camera for me to see something, because I can't see enough on the camera display. And again, that's it. You want to keep the paint thin enough. I see that I need to touch up the red a bit more, but I will do this off camera because I need to see. It's a tricky thing to do, but I think we can manage to show you guys, or I can manage to show you guys everything you need to see while we paint the figure. As I said earlier, I will now take this off camera and paint all the rest of the details on the figure, and then we come back, paint the eyes, and then we'll see how we get shades and highlights on our figure. So see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, as you see, I've picked out all the little detail on all the equipment, the shoulder flaps, the pants, the pant strip, the boots, the binoculars, everything. It was quite difficult this time because the detail was very, very close to each other, so that wasn't all that well. Now let's take a look at the eyes of the figure. Well, in 1/35 scale, normally eyes are, a tough task to manage. Well, I have a tip for you how you can get eyes on your figures an easy way. You take black paint. Let me just focus this and put the autofocus on hold. You take black paint and you just put a black strip where the eye is, like so. And you do this with both eyes. Just a black line. Then you let that set for a second. And you take an off-white color. Just an off-white color. Doesn't matter what kind, but not clear white, because clear white will look, well, unhealthy. See this? Okay, you take the off-white color, put it on the tip of your brush once again, and then we take our figure. It's a bit dark right now, that's because of my big head, and we just dab it right, and we just dab it to the edge of the black, to both sides, a little dab. Once again, I have to turn this guy over in order for me to show you guys again the edge. Enough paint on the brush. That's the big thing here, but not too much so that you don't ruin it. Those eyes are a bit big now. So what we do is we go back to our basic flash tone. Put a small drop on a container where we have our paint. Once again, put it on the brush. Take our figure, and especially with this one, this is way too big. We just take our brush and just try to take some of it back. Want to be careful not to take too much off. And there we go. The eyes now look way big. I know this. But the next step that we will now do will prove you guys that it's not bad. You see those eyes, they are way big now. But you won't see them as stark once our magic stuff is on in the next step. So let me prepare everything for the last and final step on the figure. Alright guys, here it is, the magic stuff, the magic liquid. Color shade number 2, medium, from Makeup Production. I talked about this in my channel update, and this stuff is really good. As you saw, we just base painted our figure, and to create some highlights, I dry brushed it with the lighter color of the base color. And now we take this stuff, give it a good shake, open it, and see a gooey brownish liquid. We take an old brush, we take our figure, we dip the old brush in the gooey stuff, not that much, that was a bit too much, and then we'll just dab it onto our figure. And as you see, I'm not deliberate at all. I'm not careful at all. I'm just stipling away. You don't want to brush it on, you just want to stipple it on. It is similar to an oil wash, but only similar. It is not an oil wash. As you probably already can see, it's very glossy. That's the liquid is a very glossy liquid. Now, same we do with our face. And head. You don't want to. Then we do the same to the pants. and the shoes. And I already see that the figure has a very glossy look. You can see that, right? But you can also see that the stuff runs into the recesses of the figure, which is exactly where we want it, which is exactly where we need it to create shadows, which is exactly what this product is supposed to do. I will now set this figure to the side, and we will let it dry for about 20 to 24 hours. Then I'll come back and I'll show you guys how this figure looks when it's in a glossy state. Or actually, let me just put this aside and I'll show you guys a figure I painted yesterday with the same way we just painted this figure. You see the gloss? But you can also see everywhere the liquid ran and created nice shadows. Look at the figure's collar here. Look at this. All this happened thanks to this stuff. Look at the hands. And it's very glossy. You need to put a matte coat over this figure now. Once the matte coat's on, the figure's done. Nothing else we need to do to the figure. I'm really impressed with the stuff. If you want this, as I said in the channel update, just shoot me a message and I will hit you guys up with the link where you can get it. So I will just now let the figure dry for 24 hours. Then we'll come back. Once it's dry, I'll put a matte coat on and then I'll show you the finished figure. So see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, as you can see, the color shade is now dry and you can see the nice shading effects it added everywhere. So the next step will be now for me to put on a matte coat. You always want to be careful when putting on a matte coat not to overdo it, because if you put a matte coat on too thick it will start frosting, and I have had that problem with the frosting frequently over the last couple of days because I don't know, maybe the matte coat I'm using is not that good to begin with. So yeah, I'll do this off camera now, and then I'll come back, show you the finished figure, and I'll tell you something about stuff that I had to touch up or will have to touch up in the face. So I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, we're done. The figure is done. The matte varnish is on, and as you can see, it, although I put it on very, very lightly, it frosted. And I made a mistake. I used the medium colored gloss shade effect, where I should have used the light or soft one for the light uniform. But that's not a problem. I couldn't care less. He's a bit dirtier now than you'd like, but yeah, as I said, I couldn't care less. And I like the overall look, especially on the pans. That worked really, really well. The only thing I have to touch up are the facial features here, where I put the highlights. It's too light. Anyways, that concludes the figure painting video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys around in the next video. This is How Modeling. Bye for now, and I will put a slideshow of the different steps of painting a figure at the end of this video. Bye guys.